Hey friends, Nava Hopkins here, and I am filling in for the amazing Jill Saskin-Gales. This PPC zone is all about overcoming challenges in PPC, thinking about how AI can play that more central and powerful role while balancing the humans and keeping human empathy at its heart. PPC Zone was founded by Jill Saskin-Gales in 2022 to elevate new perspectives and insights in our industry. And while Jill usually hosts the show, she has laryngitis. I am going to be your guest host for today. I work at Optimizer. We help people manage their PPC, think Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, and we're all about automation layering. So this AI topic is very near and dear to my heart. But I also love seeing new and powerful voices succeed. Our next speaker joining us in the zone today is the founder of PPC Academy, and an active PPC consultant who's worked with household names such as JD Sports, Domino's, and Debenhams. We are about to hear about, in my opinion, one of the most important things that AI can assist but can never replace: the importance of storytelling in PPC. Charley, let's take it home. Welcome to the PPC Zone.
Hi everyone. I'm Charley. As Nava said, a PPC consultant and a very proud founder of the new Performance Manchester conference here in the UK. So let me start with this. Data doesn't lie, but it certainly can confuse the hell out of us. And today we are here to untangle that confusion. I'm thrilled to be here with you today in the PPC zone with Nava and Jill. And today we will be tackling something that every single performance marketer has faced: the KPI Conundrum. Or as I like to call it, when your data is gaslighting you. So as some of you may know, the UK is best known for its outrageous drinking habits. So it did feel quite apt and fitting to use a quote comparing the current state of performance marketing to a load of old drunks. Marketing metrics should be like a choir, unified and harmonious. But too often, they're more like a group of karaoke singers that have had one too many to drink. And that's because we live in a world where if we can track it, God damn it, we will. And that makes for more KPIs and metrics than you can shake a stick at. A really great example of this is in the fitness industry, right? So it used to be assessing whether you're healthy. Do you eat healthy? Do you move? Now it's, are you getting your 8 hours of sleep? What's your VO2 max? What's your resting heart rate? What's your basal metabolic rate? So you can see how quickly when you throw in a lot more metrics, things can get quite overwhelming quite quickly. So what is a KPI conundrum? Well, it might look like Google Ads telling you your conversion rates are soaring, but your client's finance team says revenue's down. Who is telling the truth? We're drowning in conflicting metrics, and a lot of the time these days, if we don't control the narrative, the KPIs can lead us in circles, and as a result, real business outcomes suffer. Goodhart's law, named after the economist Charles Goodhart, states that we optimise for what we can measure. And when we pick the wrong measure, we get the wrong behaviour. So how do we make sure we pick the right one? In our data-driven world, we tend to overvalue numbers and undervalue anything that's soft or difficult to quantify. And we're seeing this issue more and more with the rise of view-based marketing platforms like TikTok, paid social, digital out-of-home, YouTube, you name it. We mistakenly think that the factors that we can measure are the only things that exist. We think that what we can measure are the most important things, and the parts that are more difficult to measure don't really matter at all. This is why it can feel super, super painful trying to justify and attribute a lot of the newer paid channels and even investment in upper activity like YouTube and demand gen. Does that mean that they don't have impact or aren't worth doing? I think not. Let's look at this example of a third-party attribution tool measuring generic search. Conversions logged, revenue logged, but dun dun dun, Google Ads AP ad platform in the screenshot was telling a different story. Revenue wasn't just not aligning, Google Ads was reporting zero revenue at all. And riddle me this, how do you optimize and push a top performing campaign when you have zero data in platform to optimize? What was happening? Attribution chaos, that is what. But something that I do see all too regularly with clients not managing to build a coherent narrative with their data, their story was effectively broken. So when we dug deeper, we found that Phosphor, the third-party attribution tool, prioritised upper funnel and introducer traffic, and so was attributing more credit and revenue to introducer channels like paid social and generic search. At the same time, Google's own ad platform metrics were under-attributing credit to these campaigns because revenue is set up on a last-click basis, and these campaigns weren't where the user was making their final decision. So here's where storytelling comes in. Stories are how humans make sense of complexity. It's how we create meaning from chaos. Stories are 12 times more memorable than facts alone. And in marketing, a good story isn't just about a clever ad or a catchy headline. It's about crafting a narrative that aligns with business goals and the data that we're seeing so you can drive better business decisions. So what do we need for a good story in performance marketing? I hear you ask. Well, first of all, we need a protagonist. This is your one true north metric. So it's the single metric that matters most to the business. And for most businesses, that's business net revenue. Everything else, as Tony said, from clicks to CVR to CTR to conversions, it's all just noise and supporting cast. The conflict, so this is where the data doesn't actually align, and it's our jobs as PPC practitioners to identify the points of friction and ask why. Why does Google's story differ from your clients? Why is X platform over-reporting conversions? And the conflict also lays in the fact that your stakeholders, bosses, managers, are not always marketing experts. So what is obvious to you may be completely foreign to them. And a resolution. So the story only works when you tie it all together. In the case study, we looked at two different attribution models that, on the face of things, contradicted each other. A resolution in this instance is involving using a hybrid attribution model and combining that first-party data with insights from Google and other platforms to understand the true value of some of the upper funnel performance marketing and focusing on the only true north metric, business net revenue. So 3 quick fixes for you. 1, agree on your true north metric. This is a non-negotiable for PPC practitioners. And I'll give you a clue, it's not CPA. Understand the conflict. Understand why the platforms don't have the same story, because when you start to understand, you see that, yes, they are taking more credit than they deserve, but that doesn't always mean that they're wrong. And thirdly, focus on trends over snapshots. Daily siloed fluctuations absolutely lie, but blended long-term data provides more valuable context when we know the customer journey is no longer linear. So the next time you find yourself drowning in a sea of conflicting metrics, remember, your job isn't just to analyze the data, it's to tell the story. And when you get the story right, the results speak for themselves.
Oh my goodness, Charley, what a note to end the presentation section of the PPC Zone on. That was, and I was messaging to the panel privately that was probably the most wholesome talk I have heard in such a long time. And I sincerely hope everyone is paying attention to Charley, because that is a talk I expect to see on the international stage, if not this year, the next year. Our next event is going to be on April 16th, 2025, featuring John Greenhow, Marjorie Viston, and the amazingly brilliant Dwayne Brown. If you would like to apply to speak at an upcoming event, this is an amazing opportunity. Jill does a great job of amplifying brand new speakers. The PPC Zone website is ppc.zone. And I have been your guest host, Nava Hopkins. Thank you for supporting the mission to elevate new perspectives and insights in our industry. And we look forward to seeing you next time in the zone.